talking right off the top. We always wait a few seconds. So this will be my test to see how much is cut off in our Facebook Live. Good morning. It's May 22nd, and it's not working. Let's double check. It just said unsupported requests. What the heck's going on here? Let me just make sure we're not on Facebook, Dr. Bauer.
We were live.
Oh,
Bob.
we are live. It just told me there's an error. Mrs. Fakish, thank you so much for the follow-up. Yeah, it says right here, there's an error. So I tried to start off the top, tells me there's an error. It's all lies. But here we are. Thanks,
Facebook has the case of the Mondays, apparently.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. It's Monday, May 22nd. Beautiful day outside. We are in the thick of the end of year activities. How's your Monday morning, May 22nd going, Dr. Bauer?
We're doing okay here, Bob. It's I'm a little under the weather. You can probably hear that. But like anyone else, I don't know if it's seasonal allergies or my daughter has been a little under the weather, so maybe she passed that along generously. But all in all, pretty good. We're in the thick of it in the Bauer household. So aside from personally, it's like running. We had lacrosse, 2 baseball games on Saturday. I ran to the triathlon for a bit. And then Sunday it was lacrosse and baseball again. So all in good fun. And as we said last month, they tell me I'll miss this. But it's chaos, and the weekends are not restful. They're not restful.
Well, I told you this. We picked up our daughter from New Hampshire this weekend. So same type of thing where I'll probably miss moving my daughter in and out of college when she's done there. But I didn't miss it this weekend. So there's a lot to do. I didn't know I could get so much into my minivan. You take so much stuff up with your daughter and somehow it triplicates, and we got to figure it out and get it into the vehicle. But, it's a whirlwind tour. It feels like I was away for like 3 days. We left Saturday morning, got up there in the afternoon. We were back last night at 8:00. So when we got home last night, I'm like, wow, that was a long couple days. And I'm like, no, we left yesterday morning. So,
you just, by the way, created the word triplicate.
I know. I was thinking it's probably not a word, but a word.
Like
I'm going to go with it. Yeah, we're going to put that in the dictionary here. So let's talk about probably the big thing on everybody's minds from last night. We almost had a virtual day today. So
yes.
Talk to us about what was happening yesterday afternoon here with our network.
Yeah. So amidst the chaos, right, to finally get home from a Little League baseball game for my son and get ready to start some dinner on a Sunday, get the grill going. And then we find out that all network systems are down. So what ended up happening, and I'll be scarce with finer details, but we had a failure late last week and had to bring from an electrical side, and we needed to bring in a temporary solution to that failure while we ordered a part to resolve the issue. And unfortunately, Sunday morning, that temporary resolution caused an electrical fire. And I was under the impression at, say, 11 o'clock in the morning that everything was resolved. We were fine for school the next day, no problem, not major damage or anything. And then we find out that the systems are down. And so sometime around 3 or 4 o'clock, I'm hearing that we don't have any internet. And like any business, we are dependent upon internet for all kinds of things, such as door access, security cameras, school nutrition, and kids paying for their meals. And aside from instruction, right, there's so many things that are dependent upon a network. So it was pretty debilitating. So this is rolling around about 4 or 5 o'clock. And I decided, you know what, we need to give families and staff a heads up that it's possible we're not going to have school tomorrow in person. And actually, I was told the possibility was better than 50%, that we would not be okay to have school. So when you're thinking you may have a snow day, everyone on Earth knows that the weather's going to be
They can
bad.
see the forecast. There's no forecast for our network being down.
Right. So I don't feel an obligation to give a heads up. Oh, hey, the weather is going to be bad. We might not have school tomorrow. People know that.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, it's 5 o'clock on a Sunday, and I'm hearing there's a better than 50% chance that we won't be able to have school. Well, rather than have just a day off and pushing all kinds of end of year activities, I wanted everyone to be prepared to try to have a virtual day. And people were thinking, well, if you have no network, how can you have a virtual day?
Sure.
All of our online applications are web-based. So the problem was we didn't have the web.
Yeah.
So if you're at home and you have internet access and you have your device at home, as students and staff should, we should be equipped to have an emergency flexible instructional day.
Yeah.
As it turned out, they were able to miraculously resolve the issue, get things back up and running. And I sent communication somewhere around 7:30 or 8 o'clock last night that we were go for launch today. So I'm pleased to be here in my office with internet talking to the people this morning. And of course, you, Mr. Gilmer.
Oh, of course. Well, that's what I said. I was getting, whenever something like that goes on, my phone starts blowing up too. Like, hey, what's going on? I got to understand, if there's no internet, how do we do all these things? Or we used to have school before Google, and going back to people not realizing, like, every system is touched now on the internet somehow, and
Right.
not having phones or security cameras, and like you said, the door access is huge, and it becomes so complicated at that point, that the buildings aren't, I want to say, inhabitable, but there are safety concerns and issues when you can't communicate with anybody or make a phone call or call the school, or those types of things where it's more than, I can't search on the internet or get email, right? Like, I used to come to work before we even had email. What's the problem? That it becomes so disruptive that the better option, if we had none of this all down, and understanding that the high school here is where the data center is. I know there was a little tweak of confusion. I'm like, I said North Penn High School data center. Does that mean everybody? Yes. Our data center is right here at the North Penn High School. And if that goes down, all of those systems across the district are down. The great thing is we have moved, to your point, to the cloud-based systems. That's why we were able to use School Messenger last night and tell people, right? If that was 15 years ago and our data center was down, we couldn't have used School Messenger either to tell you the data system's down, right? So there's a bunch of those critical systems that are in the cloud. So good thing is our staff, again, worked really hard yesterday to make sure we're here today. And things seem to be operating, even though we had this little, I didn't think we were on Facebook. That has nothing to do with our network. That is a Facebook thing. There's a Facebook error. It was an API error. It has nothing to do with our network. Anyway,
here we go.
So Friday night, we'll go to the fun stuff, right? So everything's fun. We had a big night down in Philadelphia, and you were there at Citizens Bank Park. So it was North Penn night at the Phillies for staff and families. You were there. Tell me how that went. And I think we had over 500 people there representing North Penn at the game on Friday night.
Yeah, so, in an effort to build camaraderie and get people together, in particular, not only because I'm new to the position, but also because we've had a rough couple of years, just try to do some things to make people smile. And so we did a North Penn night at the Sixers in January, I think that was. Or no, that was November, wasn't it?
I think it was the fall. Yeah.
Yeah, that was November. And then we decided to do a North Penn night at the Phillies. And it was really dictated by the Phillies. When, what night they could give us. But we sold over 500 tickets, 510. We started with just staff, and we told staff they could forward to friends and family. And then we opened it up on, I think, Facebook or somewhere we promoted it. There's a discounted rate. We could have used it as a fundraiser, and then they wouldn't give us a discount. They would just give the proceeds to, like, the Ed Foundation. But we chose, no, let's pass the discount along. This was not about raising money. It was about just getting together and having some camaraderie. So I know that there was a tailgate planned for, like, lawn games and such, and food. So families and staff could come to that. I didn't make it to that. My family and I had to go home, get the kids, get everything ready. But certainly we made it to the game. Sat in a section, sat near some staffs, sat near some families. It was great. It was not a good product on the field. The good thing is the Phillies took 2 of 3 this weekend. The bad thing is we went to the one they didn't get.
Sure.
They lost 10-1, but it was still a beautiful night for baseball and nice to spend time with friends and family.
Gotcha. And then, Friday night, the one group of staff I know were not at the game because they were here at the high school prepping, is our largest outdoor event that we really hold. It was the triathlon this weekend. So Saturday, there was a record number of our students participating, and we had over 1,800 kids involved. I don't know did you get a chance to make it over here on Saturday? Were you checking in?
I did.
Tell me what you saw.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I was running over to Flowertown for my daughter's lacrosse game. They, what do you say? Like tipped off. It's not a tip. I don't know. Anyway, so they started the start. Yeah, she started her lacrosse game at something like 8, and then my son and I ran over to North Penn High School to see the triathlon. And Bob, if you've never seen it, I know you have.
Yeah.
But other people haven't seen it. It's one of the best things that we do. 1,800 kids. It's all day long, and they are swimming, running, biking, They end over at the track. It is professionally done. Kids train for it. It's a beautiful thing seeing our community out and celebrating fitness and an active lifestyle. And the kids love it. They love it. Our staff is incredible. We have so many volunteers, 1,800 kids. Just like, I've been to professional triathlons. I've seen an Ironman. I was a swimmer in a previous life. I think most people know that at this point. And this looks professionally done, except it's 5 to 12-year-olds.
Absolutely.
And it's just really, you see kids doing the triathlon with training wheels on.
Yep.
It's just really, really great. It's a special day for North Penn. The weather decided to cooperate. It was looking iffy there for a while. But it's just one of those things. I'm proud to be a part of North Penn when you see it. My son and I are walking around. Everybody's, "Hey, Dr. Bauer. Hey, doctor, thanks for coming." I was just there to enjoy it like anyone else.
Yeah.
I didn't wear a suit. I had shorts and a sweatshirt on, and it was just really nice to see our kids and their families celebrating something special here in North Penn.
Yeah, our phys ed teachers, awesome job. And everybody's out there with, and hundreds upon hundreds of volunteers that are assisting at the same time. And there's a lot of behind the scenes components. I mean, just the staging alone, right? Just getting the bike area together, the number of lifeguards and the track set and the timing system going. There's a lot of moving parts with our facilities and security staff as well, making that an enjoyable and safe day. You talk about like the training wheels and all that. It's a lot of fun in the weeks leading up to this, leaving the high school, of how many parents are with their kids, like practicing that bike route or running a little bit and seeing what's going on. It's awesome to see the kids so energized to come in and try to compete and do this and know that they can. So great job, our phys ed teachers. Another quick shout out, as we talk about great things that happen. We've talked about it a lot, but since we talked last, the Frozen opened, and we had, if I include the gold card, right, eight shows. So nearly 13,000 people. It's crazy. 13,000 people came through our auditorium and saw this show in person, and every show we had was sold out. So this is the first time in forever that we've never sold tickets at the door. That's never happened where we didn't sell tickets at the door. So awesome job by these kids. And it was really interesting to watch, like, week 2. And you get into that professional theater level where they did their show and opening and everything else. Week 2, when they rehearsed and then got ready for the show, it was just so much looser. They had so much fun that final weekend, and you could see it on the stage. Because, like, we know we can do this. We had our opening night. We did all this. We got through our little tweaks and issues. And the second weekend of shows was really enjoyed. And I know it was really enjoyable to see the kids like, oh, we can do this. And so, Saturday matinee is just another show. Boom, we got this. So awesome job. I know we've talked about Frozen a lot over the last couple of years, but thanks to Andrea Roney and the entire staff. That was quite the undertaking, and I think everything was well represented by North Penn there. So
yeah, it was incredible. I really enjoyed it with my family. It was a late night, I think I said, and so I had the opportunity to see it a couple times. When I took my own children, it was 9 o'clock and it was intermission on a Thursday. Yeah. My kids didn't make it past intermission. They had a big day with school and sports the next evening, so we left at 9. But I personally had the opportunity to see the show a couple times, and it's just phenomenal. And it's like you said, Bob, it's not just about the product on the stage. It's like just seeing the kids get comfortable and turn into professional performers in that moment. The kids backstage, the people in the booth, the whole thing is just, I'm in awe of it. I do not have that kind of talent, that's for sure.
No, neither do I. That is a fact. So yeah, it's just, and then you did this back when you were principal, and I know Mr. Hassler had a couple cameos as well in the show. So if you didn't know, it's a tradition that the high school principal makes an appearance and always has a part. So do you remember your last part that you did? Which show was it?
I'm thinking it might have been Jacob and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Joseph, I'm sorry.
Joseph, yeah.
And I came out and I was some kind of and I had like a rubber chicken. I walked out on stage and handed somebody a chicken and I walked off. That's the extent of
your skill level on stage, right there.
Andrea Roney, our director, has an eye for talent.
She does.
She knew my ceiling.
That's awesome. All right, so let's talk about school board meetings. That's always the goal here, is just kind of review what happened at the action meeting, because they're all the decisions the board makes every single month. So the action meeting was last Thursday, and we approved our preliminary, I shouldn't say this, we approved our proposed final budget. So this is what's published for the public to look at. This is what we're proposing as the final budget. And that will be voted on in June, right? June
Yes.
action meeting. So do you want to talk about the budget or where we're at on that? What people expect to see if they happen to watch that meeting?
Yeah, so the preliminary budget does include a 4.1% tax increase. That is the Act 1 index. And while I recognize that that is a large number, I do think it's the responsible thing. And I am pleased that the board went in that direction, given the high school renovation that, I'm sure you and I are about to talk about.
Sure.
But when you are about to embark upon a significant project like that, it is the responsible thing to take the Act 1 index. So much was made about the Auditor General's report months ago, and fund balances across the state. And Mr. Scrocky has said publicly over and over again, if we didn't have this capital projects list and beyond the high school of the facilities that we need to take care of, our fund balance might be a bit much, and a 4.1% increase might be a bit much. But we, like anyone else, we are not immune to inflation and the economy, and our costs are going up just like everyone else's, and just like our employees' costs in their own personal lives. So I recognize that it is a large ask for the community, but unfortunately, it is the cost of doing business right now. Sure. Especially with this project coming up. So I'm pleased with the preliminary budget. We did approve preliminarily a budget deficit, but I think it's one that we can work with. With that tax increase, I think it's somewhere around 1.4. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But I think it's a gap that we'll be able to overcome.
Gotcha. Yeah. And, going back to the Auditor General's report there, I think part of it was like, that it's hidden. And I got to say, when we were just talking about, we have another finance meeting on Tuesday night again, tomorrow night. None of that. It's all been public. We've been talking about what the fund balances are. You can go back for years and look at all the presentations and see exactly how things are budgeted and where they're at and why. So it's very transparent. So it's all within those meetings. Tomorrow night, we have another special finance, and I actually meant to do this. And I just realized it as you were saying there, like calculate how many hours of finance meetings we've done since January in reviewing what the budget is and what our plans are moving forward. It is more than just a couple hours. I'll tell you that. I don't know if it's 20 hours. I should have calculated the number, but it's significant. We've had a lot of money, a lot of meetings, and a lot of minutes spent to that. And all the presentations are there on the board doc if you want to check it out. So on the agenda as well was the contract for Schrader Group. Let's talk about what that means.
Yeah, so I don't want it to get like lost in the sauce here about how this process is working with the high school renovation. Up to this point, there have been concepts and estimates, right? Estimates about how much a project could cost. But yet we have not gone to the point of designing and actually, having architects actually draw and schematically design, what the renovation could look like and what the actual costs will be in like real time. Now, we said last month that the estimates are a science, right? They're close. We know that. The numbers that we've been putting out there are very close to what the actual numbers will be. But just like we said, and Mr. Scrocky said at one point, you don't know the market value of your home until you sell it.
Sure.
We don't know the cost of this renovation until we bid it, right? So we can design it and have these drawings and then put this forward and say, this is what we want. But then all the contractors and the construction folks bid the project and they say, okay, we'll do that work for this much, right? Then you know the actual cost. But there has been some public criticism about, well, where are these numbers coming from? Well, we don't even know. We don't know what it's going to look like. We don't either, right? We are now contracting with Schrader Group Architects to do the design. And then once you have a design and we work through that process and we get stakeholder feedback and we have students and staff in the community involved in what we want, Then it goes out for a bid eventually. A further layer here in North Penn is the potential for a referendum.
Yep.
And whether or not we go ninth grade. So the approval of that contract for just the design, not to move forward with a project, but to design the project, occurred at Thursday night's board meeting. And that's really exciting. And this is a culmination of years of hard work. We've been talking about this since I got here in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding is it was a conversation well before that too.
Yep.
So the day I was hired, Dr. Dietrich spoke to me about, okay, we're going to start a renovation on North Penn High School. And that was in the summer of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2023. So here we go. Finally have a contract to design the renovation. And I am excited about that.
So with that, we have our facilities and operations committee meeting tonight. So there are 3 committee meetings tonight. As always, go to board docs. You can get the schedule, you can get the YouTube links and watch them. They're virtual tonight. We have a policy meeting tonight. We have a safe schools meeting, and we have a facilities and operations meeting at 7 p.m. And we're going to be talking about the high school as well. And count on it, facilities and operations is going to be a topic for a while, right? What are we going to be talking about tonight in facilities and operations for high school renovations?
So specifically, there's going to be granular detail on those estimates. So if you go in there now, I believe you can see the attachments. Let me pull it up actually as we speak. The agenda informational items are compliance series, some informational things about our facilities and operations team. Then item B is high school update. And in there, you could see the estimates on option 1 and option 2. And it goes down to like spaces, rooms, locker rooms, how much everything could potentially cost for athletics, for kitchen, other construction costs. This is where you get into the really granular, the nuts and bolts of the actual estimate. So the questions that have been asked publicly and in public comment, like where are these numbers coming from? Here they are.
Yeah, you can see it.
And it is attached. You can look at square footage for spaces, and then the cost per square foot, all those things. So it should be a very detailed explanation of the estimates this evening.
Gotcha. And interesting enough, I think coming out of that, because the questions come back, is I just see that I'm just looking at the agenda as well. We're not updating, but reviewing our 10-year capital plan as well, which, we talk about all the other needs that are not the high school. We have a lot of conversation on high school, and we all know there's more needs than just the high school. And part of that is in this capital plan of those kinds of projects that working on our facilities. So lots of information. I'm going to guess it's a longer one, so hang in there. But it's always going to be available on YouTube, and you can go back and look at these. You can look at these presentations right now as well. All right, what else do we got, Dr. Bauer? I think they were everything really from the board meeting we wanted to hit. Talk about.
Yeah, so we did send out my letter for this month, mentioned all the staff recognitions. We had everything from, speech pathologists recognition day, to principals, to teacher appreciation, to school nurse appreciation. Really, it's a month. May is a month of recognitions. And none more important than this Thursday evening, we have our retirement dinner. And that is at North Monco Technical Career Center. The culinary students and program provide the dinner. It's always amazing and delicious, but it's a great way to honor those who have sacrificed and committed so much of their time to the North Penn School District and our students and families. Really looking forward to that Thursday night. I continue my circuit of visiting home and school associations to talk about the high school project, because it really does impact everyone. So I have a couple of this week. You mentioned the schedule for tonight. I have a meeting every single night this week. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. And then Friday, hopefully we can have a great holiday weekend. Folks can spend time with friends and family for Memorial Day, and certainly a worthy recognition and celebration.
Yep. I was looking for the list here to see how many. I don't have the number, and it does change, and it continues to update with the number of retirees. But I have to tell you, it's one of the most. I always love the retirement dinner every year to hear the stories, and it also helps all of us remind why we're here, because in May everybody's so trying to wrap up. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety about wrapping up, and there's a lot to get done in the last couple of weeks. And then when you hear the retirement stories, and you hear the people that have been here for 35 years, 38 years, and their career, we're big enough that we can't do an hour per person, but it'd be easy. That's why they're individual retirement parties. But it's a moment for just a few comments for each of the folks that retire from each of the buildings. And I've always find it so inspirational to listen to just the stories and the appreciation we have for our staff that have spent their career here at North Penn. That's not a public event. It's for the retirees, families,
Sure.
and us. But it's always inspirational. And the other thing going into Memorial Day weekend, I always like to remind on Monday, the Key Club has been doing this for, 25 years plus, where we have our memorial for soldiers who have lost their lives in combat, that are North Penn grads. It was started by the Key Club in, I want to say it was like 1995, but it's on the corner there of Penn Street and Church. If you drive by there, Linda Law and the Key Club and the kids always do a wonderful job of the ceremony. We have the JRTC there, the North Penn High School Chorus, to sing. So after the parade that takes place in Lansdale, they do a ceremony down there at Memorial Park for Lansdale. And then we come up, and on the corner there, I think it's usually around 11 o'clock. So if you're there at the parade, it's worth coming up and hearing, and they read all the names of the North Penn grads who have given their life in the service of their country. It's very moving. I mean, all these years I've gone to it, I'm still moved every time we go, because the kids do such a nice job with that ceremony. So it's a really nice thing. So if you're in that part of town, it's worth stopping by. So I think that's about it, right? We'll wrap this. I'm going to check. I didn't see any questions today, Dr. Bauer.
All right. Well, we didn't really open it up for questions.
No, I have it in the thing, like send some questions or comments below. So I can't give any shout outs to any names because I don't see any names of people posting in there. So thank you everybody that are watching now, and always they watch later. But you can certainly put in questions there, and we can continue to try to answer those as best we can in the chat as the week progresses. So Dr. Bauer.
Yes,
End
sir.
of May's coming up. We're going to wrap this year up soon. We wish everybody the best the last couple of weeks. The next time we talk in this format is going to be post-graduation. So and it's going to be fast.
It's incredible that the year, the end of the year is upon us. We have retirement dinner, as we said, this week, and then soon we have a senior awards nights, North Monco's graduation, our own graduation, which hopefully will be on June 14th in Crawford Stadium.
We always put the purchase order in for good weather, so don't worry, that's taken care of.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob. You just jinxed it. It's just amazing. It's been a difficult, challenging, exciting year. I'm proud of the work that everyone has done. Certainly proud of our staff and our students. And I look forward to talking to you that June day with a polo shirt on and on the precipice of a Friday off.
I think we got to be, let's say it's going to be a nice day the day after, and we figure out and we make sure we're outside somewhere. And
there you go.
Yeah, we'll find a nice little spot to do this. We'll do a special on location Superintendent Live. We'll figure that one out. So
Bob, I love this. Sometimes they take radio shows on the road.
That's right.
You and I, we should set up a table in the middle of Lansdale and let people drive by while you and I are filming Superintendent Live. That would be awesome.
We got some ideas. We'll reflect on your first year as superintendent at that time. And we'll stay tuned, everybody. We'll have a special location. You can see if you can come by and see us. So, all right. That's it for May. Thank you, Dr. Bauer.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you. Well, I'll see you tonight at the meetings, but we'll see everybody else real soon.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Bob.